Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, with the second topic today. Well, Norway is the guest of honor in this edition of the International Cairo International Book Fair in its 55th edition. For this reason, the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities have organized a trip for the Norwegian delegation to visit the pyramids. So to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone Dr. Yehya Abdul Qader, Tourism Counselor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ms. Emma.
Well, Dr. Abdul Qader, how do you see the importance of organizing this visit to the Norwegian delegation who is attending, of course, the Cairo International Book Fair to the pyramids?
Well, really the event, of holding the Cairo International Book Fair, the 55th session, really is a great event for Egypt and for the whole world and the Middle East, because there are 70 countries participating, represented by 1,200 publishers and 6,000 exhibitors as well. So Norway has been selected as guest of honor for this annual event, and the Princess of Norway, attending the book fair, as well as one of the leading writers and authors in Norway, using Qader as well. And the Egyptian Tourist Authority, they organized a historical tour for them to visit the necropolis of the Giza pyramids, and visit partly the Grand Egyptian Museum and as well the some boats, in the neighborhood. So really that was a great selection for a country, cooperating with Egypt in cultural and economic and educational issues. And it's a great event for culture and education, and for Egypt, the book fair was annual happening here.
Yes, the delegation, the Norwegian delegation comprises of or gathers a number of very well-known Norwegian writers and journalists and critics. How is it important for these famous names from Norway to take their photos on the Giza Plateau, the pyramids and the Sphinx? How do you see this picture in promoting and boosting tourism in Egypt and attracting more visitors to Egypt?
Well, really, Norway is among the 5 countries, Scandinavian countries, they have their own language, and selecting them was, a great and intelligent choice. And the princess, was heading the delegation, and there were many, writers, painters, authors, media personnel leading from Norway. That, among the group that visited, the Cairo Antiquities and the Giza Necropolis and the Egyptian Museum at Tahrir as well. So, of course, we need to, develop strong ties, with many countries in the world, especially those who cooperate, in economic, educational, and scientific issues with Egypt as well.
Yes, the pyramids, now there are restoration work that is and renovation work that is taking place there. So give us an idea about it, please, and its importance.
Well, the Ministry of Tourism and Archaeology, they're working in antiquities. They're working in developing many of the historic sites in all over Egypt. So shortly, inshallah, we'll be opening the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is an icon. But at the same time, they're doing restoration work at the third pyramid, the Giza Necropolis. And this is an association with a Japanese mission that's helping, to move some boats from its earlier site, to be housed under the roof of the Grand Egyptian Museum. So there is international debate about, the authenticity of the restoration process. There is pros and cons about it, but of course, it's a great move to preserve, old and ancient antiquities and archaeological sites that have been in existence for the past 5,000 years.
Yes, yes. So also with the many discoveries that took place near the pyramids in the Saqqara district also. So give us an idea about the importance of this. There was a series of discoveries during the past years until the last month. There was also discoveries of wooden coffins and treasures of the ancient Egyptians.
Well, really, like last year was an eventful year because there have been discoveries, like Western Alexandria, in Saqqara necropolis, and as well in Mania, Ben Suef, like Upper Egypt as well. So there has been a recent one that has been discovered like 3 weeks ago. It belonged to the 18th dynasty, but there was findings and relics of the 26th dynasty as well. Like funerary, like amulets that associated with all the burial sites, like in coffin and sarcophagus of the deceased. So really year-round we are, like finding discoveries all over Egypt, and this is great promotion, as well as the exhibitions we have, the current one that we have in Sydney, Australia as well. So all this is a great promotion for Egypt, and we look forward to having a good year, inshallah, in 2024.
Yes, so can we expect the Norwegian delegation to visit other places here in Egypt? Is there any kind of program, another program that is settled for the delegation in the coming days? Or
the Ministry of Tourism, like they've been flying, like a long way from Norway on the way to Egypt. So they're planning for them to take a cruise on the Nile between Luxor and Aswan. And they have, like it's a great media representation and writers and authors and painters, like all types of skilled, like, and, like international figures coming from Norway. So that will, like inspire them, like to write more stories and cover more issues about ancient Egyptian civilizations represented in Luxor, Aswan, and Abu Simbel as well.
Yes. Dr. Abdul Qader, I would like to ask you, in general, what is the importance of icons and famous people from all around the world to come to Egypt and take photos with the pyramids, whether actors from around the world or sports players or any kind of celebrities and also presidents and kings from around the world who takes photos with the pyramids? How do you see the importance of this in promoting and boosting tourism in Egypt?
Well, really, like the presence, like of international figures and leaders and celebrities is a great promotion for Egypt because, like when fly to the Cairo, Luxor, Aswan, or Sharm el-Sheikh, or Alexandria, where we have the Greco-Roman Museum as well. So really, when they do this and when they visit, like Old Cairo, like for example, Sultan Hassan Mosque, and, like Hanging Church in Old Cairo. So when they visit these locations and, like definitely the international media is going to post it. So this is a great promotion because other, like audiences worldwide would like to follow and come to the same destination. Maybe they didn't, like they visit Egypt, but didn't go to, like some of these locations. So when they see it, they like to make another trip because this is a unique locations. Even for us, there's too much for us here in Egypt to cover really in Cairo and other tourist site locations nationwide.
Yes, so now we are in the peak of the climax of the winter season in Egypt concerning the tourism. So give us an idea about the program that is settled by the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities during the winter season.
Well, really, like intensively, remember that the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities just came back from Madrid, where he was attending the Fitur. This is one of the greatest, like travel shows at the beginning of the year. And this is stimulates and motivates, like travelers from Latin America, from Europe, from Asia to come to Egypt, as it is, like a warm resort and having, like apart from the freezing locations outside Egypt. And again, we have like great programs for them on itineraries, like in Cairo, Upper Egypt, Alexandria, and the Red Sea resorts as well. They generate 7 million visitors per year. Alam, Hagada, Sharm el-Sheikh, Tahab, Nuweiba, all these locations. So the ministry is having, like a great promotional program for them, as well as Ramadan, closely, inshallah, is around the corner. So we are going to see more promotional program for visitors from the GCC and from the Arab world as well.
Yes, Dr. Abdul Qader, Ramadan, now the holy month of Ramadan is around the corner. So what are the preparations that is made by the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities? Some people around the world, or especially from the Arab countries, would like to spend the holy month of Ramadan here in Egypt because it's very special here.
Well, really, of course, traditionally, you like to spend like half of the month with the families and the friends, like to entertain and do the fasting and the rituals of Ramadan. And in the last, like 10 days, they like to travel close to the Eid as well. So really, the ministry is doing like a promotional program for them, for the hotels, for the accommodation, for the resorts, and tour packages and affordable prices and opportunities as well. So this has been done like over like about 20, 30 years before, and it is very successful because Arab brothers, like they love families, they love to come and spend, like 10 days or 1 week in Egypt throughout the month of Ramadan.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Yehya Abdul Qader, the tourism counselor. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, The Breakfast Show. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.